Brian, first of all, thank you for taking time to squeeze us in. How you doing?
Good. Thanks, Bob. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, this is something that's near and dear to your heart. You're at the PWHL game tonight, and what's the score, by the way? Is Toronto up in that game?
1-0 Toronto. Yeah, 1-0 Toronto.
A little bit of expansion for that league. They're coming out west, Vancouver and Seattle. That's certainly there's growth there. I'm going to be really intrigued to see how the economic model carries forward. Do you envision this being a 12, 14 team league probably within 6 to 8 years?
Yes, I think so. I think they have rapid expansion in mind. I think they want a western segment of the league, not just Vancouver and Seattle. I think Vancouver and Edmonton and Calgary could end up with teams very easily.
Well, obviously, Edmonton and Calgary have new buildings as well. All right, let's switch focus. The Edmonton Oilers, what a difference about 12 days makes, Brian. The Oilers started the playoffs 0-2. They'd given up 12 goals against in the first 2 games. The LA Kings looked like it was their time after the Oilers beat them 3 straight years in the playoffs. Edmonton went to Calvin Pickard, who 2 years ago was in the minors for the entire year. And now Edmonton's rung off 6 straight games. The Oilers with the best 5-on-5 possession metrics of any team in the playoffs. And lots of scoring throughout the lineup. The Oilers the highest scoring team in the playoffs, and it hasn't been the power play in McDavid and Draisaitl. But from your perspective, what are you seeing that Edmonton's doing well?
I think the big guys are playing well. Secondary scoring, you mentioned they're a much bigger and tougher team with the lineup changes with Trent Frederick and Evander Kane in. It's a different look. It's a different kind of more of a hostile approach. And their goaltending's been steady, so I like them.
You've always been a guy that has liked, a little bit of physicality. Truculence, I believe, was always your word. It's not every guy they got playing left, like Leon Draisaitl, is not a shrinking violet when he's on the left wing playing with Connor McDavid. Plus, you got a guy named Corey Perry over on right wing who is seemingly he's found the fountain of youth, Brian. And then you got Kane second line left wing, Frederick third line left wing, even Vasily Podkolzin on the fourth line left wing. He led the Oilers forwards with hits in the regular season. Brian, he's the first player on the ice every day at practice, Vasily Podkolzin. And he's had a good playoffs. He's got 6 points in 8 games. He's +5. The Oilers, they are a different team than what we saw in the regular season, aren't they?
Yeah, we look at the 8 teams that are still playing, and guess what the common denominator is? They're all big. All the teams that are up 2-0 are big teams, and they're playing well. They play hard, and it's not an accident. When you get to the final 8, you got to have some beef.
Yeah, there's no question. You've always believed in that as well. Goaltending. I mean, you've got some of the best goalies in the league that have had some tough moments here. Do you have a theory on how many games a starter should start during the course of the regular season? Do you think 55 plus is too much? Go ahead. Sorry, Brian. Yep.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I cut you off. I'd say 50-30. I know I always say that 50-30, and some idiot always emails me and says that doesn't add up to 82. But 50-30 is a rough split you want. That's why I think it's important to have 2 goalies because the workload. I don't think you want anyone to go 60 games anymore.
Yeah. The Oilers sure seem to like Calvin Pickard. Draisaitl scored in overtime against L.A. McDavid raced down to the other end of the ice to go see Calvin Pickard. He flat out stole that game. You got to win different ways in the playoffs. You know that. Vegas are a well-run organization. They, too, are a big, heavy, tough team. They pushed back hard last night. Pickard was there for the Oilers. It's a crazy story when you think, Brian, 2 years ago, he was in the minors for the entire year.
Well, that's what's weird about goaltending is trying to pick goalies. Like I remember telling the story earlier today when we drafted Bobby Ryan second overall. The Montreal had the number 5 pick. We looked at Carey Price. We talked to them. They said no, we're going to pick him. We didn't think we could take him that high, but he was playing 60, 65 games, right? Now you want a 50-30 split. You better have 2 goalies. You better pay 2 goalies. And so that's like Calvin Pickard. Good for him. He's taking the opportunity, jumping in there, grabbing a thing. He's played well. He hasn't been a star for me. He's played well enough to win.
By the way, the Oilers are only spending $3.6 million, Brian, on goaltending between Stuart
Yeah,
Skinner and Calvin
that's a good
Pickard.
number.
Right?
That's a good number.
I've been to Anaheim Lake, where Carey Price is from. If you can, like, it says everything, right? Like the fact that he willed himself to an NHL career, because that isn't. I mean, you worked in Vancouver for a number of years. You were in the Chilcotins. That's where the movie The Sweet Hereafter was. It was filmed near there. I mean, that's a ways away. You got to have an incredible commitment and passion to play in terms of Carey Price. So it says something right there. The Maple Leafs, the Maple Leafs are up 2-0, Brian, in their series against Florida, and they're up 2-1 with about 6 minutes left in the first period of Game 3. Do people need to realize this isn't the small, skilled puck possession Maple Leafs anymore? That Brad Treliving, the man that used to work for you in Calgary, and Craig Berube, they've got a bigger, harder, tougher, more playoff battle-tested team than they've had in the past?
Yes, and I think it's evident because Florida is used to bullying teams. They're used to running teams out of the building and onto the street. That's not happening in this series. That's no accident. It's 2-0.
Yeah.
They're trying the same tactic that's worked for the last 3 years, and it's not working against Toronto because Toronto's big.
Yeah.
Brad Treliving rebuilt the defense, added some size. They got a very different look than they had.
Yeah, absolutely. And they also, let's face it, they didn't get, decent 5-on-5 team, one bounce. By the way, 6 or 7 game series. Like if you get beat in 4 or 5 games, you get beat. But when we're talking 6 or 7 series, it tends to be a bounce here or there, doesn't it?
Yes. Anyone that tells you that a 6-game series wasn't hard fought is out of their minds.
Yeah.
It means there's seesaws. It means the lead changes. It means bad goals, good goals, fluke goals. A lot of effort and a lot of time and mileage goes into a 6-game series.
We're joined by Brian Burke. Brian, it's a loser's lament to complain about officiating. The Oilers have not had more power plays than the opposition in one game this year. Last year, their special teams were unreal. Their power play was like at 93%. The penalty killing was fantastic as well. Right now, what's scary about the Oilers, Brian, is it's all 5-on-5. Their special teams is a combined 87% right now. Nowhere near as good as it's been, which bodes well for Edmonton. But in terms of, you can't worry about the officials, can you? You just have to play through it, don't you?
No, exactly. And it's a fool's lament to talk about it. It really is. Because you can't change it. It's not going to help. It's going to tee people off on the other side, on the officiating side. So to me, the less you say about it, the better. And I don't think they're getting screwed by officials. I think they're getting the benefit of some calls. Last night, Edmonton got a
huge
break.
Huge break.
Huge break. Should have been a penalty.
Yeah. Do you saw the cross-check to the face from Nicolas Waugh? I don't know if that's going to be a suspension. He did have a hearing today. Do you think that's a one-game suspension? I mean, he cross-checked Frederick, right?
One or two.
One or two.
One or two. Like that was a flagrant foul in my view.
Yeah.
Like there's no excuse for that hit. It's not like him. I like that player, but it's not like him.
Well, and you used to be in that chair. You used to be in that George Peros role. Maybe explain to our listeners, is there politicking that goes on with the serious supervisor? Can you do that? I mean, were you not the guy that came out the one time and said Sedin is not Swedish for slash or something? I forget what the whole shtick was. It was awesome theatrics on your part.
That was trying to influence the officiating. Yes, I got fined $30,000 for that, so I won't do that again anytime soon. But I thought we needed it right then. We gave up that bad goal to Dan Cloutier, allowed that long goal from Lidstrom.
Yeah.
And we were falling apart, and I felt I had to say something. So there's some of that, but the league discourages that, and they fine you for that. So less showboating than there used to be. It was more fun back in the day.
Now, do you go to ownership and say, look, I'm going to do this. We're going to eat one. We're probably going to get fined here. Are you cool with that?
Yeah. Well, my owner there, we won the first 2 games in that series. We're up 2-0 against Detroit. And I had told our players, we're going to have to kill an extra penalty every game because Detroit's an elite team and we're not. So we're going to get the short end of the officiating, and I had no problem with that. And later on, when we were an elite team, we got the benefit of being an elite team. But I told him we'd have to kill penalties. So my owner came to me when it was 2-0 and said, we're getting screwed and you got to say something. I said, we're up 2-0, John. I'm not saying a word. But after that lead evaporated, I had to speak up.
Was that John McCaw?
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to say on the show, like I remember the Oilers playing the Islanders in the 81 and 83 playoffs, and the Islanders got more calls. And by the time Edmonton played Boston in 88-90 in the finals, I thought Edmonton got more calls than Boston. I just think veteran teams get veteran calls.
Well, you're going to get calls. You got an elite team. You're going to have the puck more. You're going to have more scoring opportunities. You're going to get fouled more. I had no problem. I warned our team. I said, look, this is what's going to happen. And it's not because they're screwing us. It's because they're a better team than we are. So you got to live with that.
Yeah, kind of comes with the territory. So you're not surprised that Toronto's had a better go here in the playoffs, and they have the perfect opponent in round one, Ottawa. Ottawa put in a good showing, but they're young. The Leafs are a more mature team, and they're certainly more physical. That Winnipeg-St. Louis series, Brian, that was fantastic hockey, wasn't it? Old school.
It was. It was great. Old school hockey. And Army, the St. Louis plays that blue-collar style. It's fun to watch. Tough to take if you're Winnipeg. But that I just could never wanted my team to get beat up like that. That's the problem we had in Pittsburgh. And I talked to the team. I talked to the coaches about it. And I'd say, well, we're getting beat up every night. I couldn't understand it. I didn't like it, but nothing I could do about it there. But in Vancouver, we never got beat up like that. In Anaheim, we never got beat up like that.
Brian, do you remember the time you invited me into your suite with Ron Hextall? And you said, Stauffer, what do you think of my team? And I said, we're going to kill you tonight, Brian. I got bad news for you.
I remember. Mr. Joviality.
I got a bad feeling about tonight's game, and it was 6-1 after 2. I don't often get them right, Brian, so what I do. Hey, look, love having you. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll hook up next week, okay? Enjoy the game tonight.
Thanks, Bob.
You bet.